Do you want to start us off with some kind of funny joke?
Funny joke. Oh boy. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Lucky Coin LuckyCast. I'm your host, DaveAce. That's the joke. Not your host.
Well,
I'm here with my other. Today I am, but I'm here with my two good buds, Dylan of Garrula64, and then Frank of Knuckles Channel 3 Knuckles or Super Frank Plays. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. Things are going about as good as they could be.
Yeah. Especially on the Nintendo side of things, right?
No.
No, they're not.
This is not a joke.
Yeah.
This is not a joke. They're not doing
This
no.
is
things.
bringing you.
Bringing you what
you
Nintendo
the
is messing up
worst
now.
thing ever.
Okay, so yeah, Nintendo is being the big dumb right now.
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah. I mean, it started off as being the big dumb, and now they're even more the big dumb.
It started off as a kind of, it was like, okay, I can see why they did it.
Yeah.
Which was obviously the Smash Brothers tournament.
Yes.
Because one of the games was going to be Super Smash Brothers Melee, and the way they were going to play it was using a program called Slippy. Now, the only way that, from what I've seen, that you can actually use this is if you have an emulated version of it. You play it on an emulator and stuff like that. And Nintendo has never really been one to be cool with having an emulator on PC and having your ROMs backed up on there. Or ISOs or whatever.
They're jealous of people making better emulators than they can.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
it.
We'll get into that part later.
Not only that, but like they set that up specifically because of the pandemic we're in.
Yep.
And
can't
can't really
meet in a building, so it's like this is the best possible result that you could get out of it.
Yeah, especially for an event that was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was like a charity event.
I don't know. Actually, I wasn't too.
I feel
up
like
on
I
the
read
event itself.
that was a charity event, but I'm not too certain.
I think it was just a tournament that was going on.
I think it was just a regular
tournament. Okay.
If it was for charity, then okay.
From what I remember seeing is this Melee program that they developed for like online play is absolutely incredible. Like the latency is like, like so tiny it makes the entirety of Nintendo look like a sham. So maybe they're just really jealous. I don't know, but I do have one question to pose to Nintendo. So many of us love you so much and all of the things that you've made, and you've affected so much of us so deeply. And I know money is important, but why do you hate us?
Especially when it boils down to a game like Melee that came out how many years ago?
They're not making money on it anymore. Like they haven't.
If they are, they're making like at least 10 cents back.
Where are they selling it still? In like the back alleys of like San Francisco? Like I haven't seen a copy of Melee being sold anywhere in a long time. Like
at least a new copy.
I mean, I understand that they don't like emulation. That's like a big thing to them.
Oh no, they do like emulation.
They like monetizing the emulation,
which completely understandable. We get it. You guys like money. We want to give you money. Stop pissing us off.
Yeah,
I would like to give you money, and I would like to feel good about doing it. I just want to be happy.
We have to go to the extremes because you won't provide the things that will make you money.
And this is the exact same stuff we were talking about. Wait, were we talking about this last time?
It was, I guess, within the same range because we were talking about 3D All-Stars.
Like, very briefly. But, like,
very briefly.
If you don't provide the things that people want to purchase from you, and then you try to take them off the internet because you don't want people to do that without buying them, you're basically just saying, don't play our games. We don't want you to play these games. Buy the new stuff. The old stuff doesn't matter, but it does because they rely on nostalgia for, like, every single thing they release. So it's very inconsistent, and I'm very angry all of a sudden.
I think every company's been like that as of late. Like, oh, nostalgia! Please give us money. It's like, we will. Just stop being assholes about it. But the whole Smash Brothers thing leads on to, I think you guys are a bit more familiar with this, the Splatoon 2 tournament that was supposed to take place.
I mean, I'm not, but I know what happened. Like it's like
leading up.
Oh my
leading
god,
up to
so
those
stupid.
Like
They
leading
just,
up to those events, there has been this movement called Free Melee, which is basically to get this tournament back up and running because people want that, and they've been using the hashtag Free Melee the entire time. So one of the players in the Splatoon 2 tournament, if I remember this correctly, was actively vocal about this, and bye-bye Splatoon 2 tournament.
Yeah, Nintendo, wasn't it an official tournament? Like, they canceled the official
tournament?
It was,
yes, it was an official Nintendo tournament. I remember reading that. I'm just like, this is... they are constantly shooting themselves in the foot here.
How petty can you be? Like, that's petty.
That's not the right move.
This is This is like a 10-year-old making decisions on the internet without his parents' permission kind of pettiness. Like, that's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of it kind of reminds me of one bad apple makes it bad for the entire class kind of
one
mythology.
Bad apple spoils the bunch.
Yeah so like it's just like, what's the point?
So here's exactly what those it wasn't just one player. I got that wrong. It was 4 teams, and guess what they did? So for the North American Open, they changed their team names. So FT Win is FT Wave Dash. Enlightenment is Slippy. I don't know if that's exactly what they turned into, but it's like a FT Win, Enlightenment, Bowcut Nation, and Southern Lights signed up as the names of FT Wave Dash, Slippy, Melee Nation, and Melee Lights for the event. And then it got shut down. I think that's beautiful. I love their approach to it.
I think because it just calls Nintendo out, and it shows how much it bothers Nintendo for some reason, and maybe they should get over themselves. They've got enough money to buy Disney, I bet. Like,
let me say this real quick before that gets taken out of context. I like the way that the teams handled that, not Nintendo. I didn't want that taken out of context.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That sounded really wrong.
No. I'm not on Nintendo's side with this. Like, Nintendo has been doing a lot of weird, questionable shit for a long time now, and this stuff is... It's not even the tip of the iceberg. Like, this is just like... The iceberg has been fully unearthed. Icebergs aren't on land. It's been fully, like, uncovered by now. And especially because all this stuff's happening. And then, they had to go and do the thing with the Joy-Con shells, the Etika Joy-Con shells.
That's like the tipping. That's it.
I think this is the boiling point. I think we're boiling the iceberg now.
Yeah.
It's just water. And
it's literally just water right now.
Like, the thing about it is, I've seen more about it since the initial announcement that people were posting about. Apparently, the person who makes these Joy-Con shells, they had got I don't know if it was a cease and desist or whatever it was, or just like a, hey, stop doing that kind of thing.
It was a cease and desist for
a different kind of Joy-Con. Like, they were making Pokemon-themed ones, and that was more what it was aimed at, but it took out, like, their entire... repertoire as well, and the Etika ones are in there, and of course those were donating all the proceeds to charity. Yeah. So on top of being really disrespectful to Etika, who, pretty much spent so much of his time praising and loving and probably driving Smash sales quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I think Etika was a huge influence there
in general, because it's like, it was a charity thing. Like,
it was, yeah.
That's just really rude, and I feel like if Nintendo didn't know, they need to offer some kind of apology. They don't need to, but they should. And if they did know, fuck you.
So, apparently it was for a number of trademarks, which would... we were actually talking about this earlier. It was like, it was like all Nintendo stuff, like the Pokemon that were on it. Technically, no. Apparently, Nintendo is saying that they had that these were the trademarks that, this person was not allowed to use. One for the Nintendo Switch. I'm assuming there's probably, like, custom Switch shells that he was selling as well. I'm not entirely sure about that.
Yeah.
The trademark for Joy-Con, for me, Wii Fit, Grookey, Scorbunny, Sobble, and Pokemon. Got hit by all 8 of those.
Ugh.
Every single trademark that apparently they're claiming that he was using without, I don't know the best way of wording it, but yeah, apparently this was back in September, so we didn't know about this until yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
By the way, we're recording this on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
or
It's
Monday.
Monday. But it's
Sorry.
I did see that as well. I did see that it happened a while back, and it just wasn't widely covered by anyone. I think it's being brought up now because of all the other bad things they're doing. But regardless of when it happened, I still feel like it's disrespectful and scummy.
Yeah, it's very, very disrespectful, especially with the Edicons and what they were meant to be for.
Yeah. All right. Well, assholes, I've already got my pair hooked up. So like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna C&D my physical Joy-Cons?
But like, see, it's such a pettiness when it comes to something like that specifically, because like there are a ton of Joy-Cons out there, right? So you're going to eventually go and buy a new pair of Joy-Cons, which is like ranging from $70 and such. I understand that the whole like reason they shut that whole like process down is because he also offered that service to put the shells onto the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
But like the way I view it is, it reminds me of a case that popped up a while back where this guy like made a repair store for Apple products, and Apple wanted to stop that because he was charging less than what they were charging to fix the products.
What was the store called, Dave?
iFixit, I believe.
Oh, really? iFixit, so they'll go after anything with an I in front of it. Apple goes after iCarly.
Jeez. God. Okay, I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. Dylan used that before we started the podcast, and he regrets it.
Oh, wow.
And God. That delivery is so much. I'm so proud of you.
I was smiling so hard because I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I could hear the smile. I was just like, and what was the store called, Dave?
And what's it called? Come on, you can tell me.
I was like, I can't believe I used that before we started, and then they were like, oh, we can just use it again once we start. And I was like, all right, well, you got to set me up for it. And you didn't say the name, so I was like, what do I do?
I would have loved if Dave just went the whole time without saying it, and it's like,
no,
come
like,
on.
I'll be honest, I legit forgot.
No, I think that was even
like,
better.
I was like sitting there thinking about, oh shoot, I was supposed to say something to lead Dylan into the joke that he made earlier, but what was the joke that he made earlier?
Alright, let me just put this out there. This is not a thing that happens very often. We don't set each other up for jokes intentionally. This was like a one-time thing because I thought that was funny, and I think it was more funny because of the context. I don't think the joke was funny at all. I think the context made that whole thing, but you decide. Let us know in the comments.
In the comments, who won?
Who's next?
Who's next?
Battle history.
iCarly versus Apple.
Wow.
Oh boy.
You know,
what were we talking about?
We were just ending off, I think.
We were talking about done talking about
what I was
I don't want to talk. Oh wait, we got Fire Emblem,
okay.
right? Frank, did you want to mention that?
Yeah, but what I was going to say before we got into Fire Emblem is that there's actually a YouTube channel that I've been subscribed to for a while named Rossman Repair Group. Mm-hmm. And their whole thing was that the owner keeps advocating for right to repair because Apple has been that company that's been against it. So it was very interesting that you mentioned iFixit. And if I'm assuming it's the same company that I'm aware of, then yeah, okay, then... Damn, Apple, you're making people hate you. But then again, you know, the cult of Apple.
I already hate them.
Yeah. Well,
it's not the cult of Nintendo. They do shitty things and people will back them up for it.
It still kind of reflects because people refer to Nintendo as the Apple of the gaming industry.
Or the Disney, I mean.
Or the Disney.
You know what? Let's not get into that because that goes right... Oh, God, we got to go back to Fire Emblem anyway because that thing has a limited time release. So let's get to Fire Emblem.
Oh, Fire Emblem.
Let's get to Fire Emblem's official English translation that we're getting. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon Blade of... Oh, I'm looking at the link of it, so it's not giving me the full name. I'm missing a couple words like of, and the. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light has a little bit of a problem on Nintendo Switch, and that is the video that you get out of it, or like the picture that you get on your Switch on the screen or on your TV. if you notice, the gameplay's a little dark. People are speculating that it could be similar to the emulation on Wii U, and that's what the comparisons have been drawn to. It's like, this looks like some of the crappy Wii U emulators
I don't
for like
want to
Nintendo
remember the Wii
64 or NES. Well, we're gonna remember it now.
Well,
And-
hey, the Wii U had Game Boy Advance games and Wii games on it.
It also had DS games.
Yeah.
I heard the emulation on those games were better, but I remember N64 was blurry and it was darkened, and I believe the NES was as well, and it just looked hideous.
Imagine
And-
releasing Partners in Time on DS Virtual Console and not Bowser's Inside Story. What the fuck were you doing?
Oh, they had to go and remake it.
Yeah. True.
So, like, people are kind of going into it and seeing, there's like a really good comparison of the emulator that they use for the Wii U and one that's used for the NES Mini and the Switch Online. And yeah, it looks like it's just Wii U, like some kind of Wii U emulator, which is really weird because they have an emulator to get this to work.
Yeah.
But my thing is that, my thing is that maybe this was originally supposed to be a Wii U port. Like, remember how they brought Earthbound Beginnings, which is Mother 1?
Right. I forgot about that.
Fully translated with a few quality of life changes. It could be possible that this was meant to come out much sooner. Maybe 5 years ago.
Could be.
What wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, just judging by the emulation on its own. But then again, it's all speculation. It's all just guesses. But I'm also told that the scaling on it is not perfect either.
Yeah, I heard that as well. I heard the pixel. It's not pixel perfect or something. Like, there's some weird stretching.
Because of a certain purist of upscaled emulation or whatever.
Oh, I wonder who that could be.
It's exactly who it is.
Shoutouts to Exo Paradigm Gamer.
Watch Remake or Rebreak.
Please do that. Very entertaining video.
Yes.
He said doo-doo. Anyways,
Yeah.
I made funny. Subscribe.
Oh, yes, you should.
You
Also,
better.
you should do that, because I believe, like, probably 95% of the people who watched the last episode did not subscribe. So, you know, you could do that if you
The
want.
pressure is
that.
peer pressure is great. Subscribe.
Yeah. Do it.
I mean, if you watch 17 minutes of a podcast so far, you must like it,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
Like, it's good background
that-
noise. I'm talking to you
that-
specifically, listener.
Yeah, you.
That might have actually been Kenny.
Ooh, not subscribing?
Yeah,
No,
calling people
no,
out.
I think that might have been Kenny who got the podcast watch time up to 17 minutes because she watched it. So
No,
I was like, damn,
I
damn. We
mean-
called. I thought we were calling people out.
no, Kenny's definitely subscribed. Shout outs to Kenny.
Thanks, Kenny. Shoutouts to Kenny.
Thank you.
Right,
let's get-
do you want to
let's
talk about
get
the
into
Pokemon
some-
card thing now? Because that's also
Yes,
Nintendo.
because thank goodness it's something positive for once. So about 20 years ago, a illusionist, magician, whatever you want to call him, I call him a fraud.
fraud?
Uri Geller. Yeah, a fraud. Uri Geller. Actually,
Liar.
a liar, a con artist.
I have nothing
let's-
against you, Mr. What is it, Geller?
Yeah,
Geller.
these are
Nothing
all for
against you.
jokes,
This is
so
all just
jokes are
jokes.
fine.
This is joking.
Please. Yeah, we're all
I
just
respect
joking
your
around.
craft.
Anyways,
Magic's fun.
yeah. Anyways, so if anyone's familiar with the Pokemon Kadabra, at one point for about 20 years, he had a ban placed on any production of a Pokemon card with Kadabra on it because his claim was that the Pokemon was too close to his likeness. In that Kadabra is a Pokemon who can use psychic powers to bend spoons. I want to talk about the freaking clip from Pokemon again. Ash just picks it, was like, I have my own way of bending spoons. He just gets it, he just bends it right in front of the guy.
What a guy. What a
What a
vision.
guy.
I mean, yeah, that's some 300 IQ stuff going on. But
Yeah.
so after 20 years, he has now lifted the ban. So we could possibly be getting future Pokemon TCG sets with Kadabra finally in it instead of Abra having some ability to skip evolution all the way to Alakazam, because I honestly think that sounds more broken.
Yeah, that actually is pretty crazy. And I mean, I wonder what it was after 20 years that made him made him change his mind.
It was just fans continuously asking him.
Because he seemed pretty apologetic in the post I saw, which is, I mean, you know what? Character development. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate.
I mean, it took 20 years, but hey, I'm glad it happened at some point.
Yeah.
And a little bit of trivia: the last time that Kadabra was printed on a Pokemon card was actually for the Skyridge. Hold on, let me look up what year Skyridge was. I forgot to write that down. It was
Come
like
on, you're slipping, Frank.
First TikTok, now this.
Oh yeah, Frank has a TikTok now. Shoutouts to Frank's TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. Look up Super Frank Plays. He posts clips from my streams on there.
He does those funny videos where he lip syncs to songs in funny ways.
I hate you.
Yeah, yeah.
I fucking hate you.
Yeah, he does that sometimes.
Okay, so it's not exactly.
His most popular one is Barbie Girl.
Oh my god, I don't want to see that. I really don't.
You guys are terrible.
Yeah, but it's okay.
So, Dylan and Dave will be opening up their own TikToks very soon, and I'm pretty sure they'll be doing their own videos.
Yeah.
Anyways,
right. Yeah, right.
No, honestly, I like what you're doing. Like that, it's a good idea. Like Twitch clips. I might do that.
So, what I didn't know is that the Skyridge TCG set was actually around the time that the e-readers are out, like the e-reader.
Yeah.
So those had e-reader functionality.
Ooh.
And this released in Japan in 2004. Or 2002, and then in the States in 2003. So since 2003, us in the West never got a Kadabra card. So technically it's 17 years. But still, we got it. That was a little too long for that story. I'm sorry.
Speaking of being a long time between getting a thing, for those of us who are Persona fans, guess what? We're getting Persona 5 Strikers in the West, and it even has a dub, which I'm a little surprised about because they were kind of going silent about it for a while, and also Persona Q2 did not get a dub. So I was kind of thinking if we got the game here, it would just be in Japanese, but lo and behold, someone leaked that trailer before the Game Awards, which we assume it's going to be officially revealed at the Game Awards, and it's got a dub, and I'm very excited for that, even though it's a Warriors game, and I'm not super in love with that style.
Okay. What I was going to say is like, oh, and the people that that leaked it, let's just say their company starts with the letter A.
Yeah. Someone from inside Atlas.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was apparently an unlisted YouTube video that somebody got a hold of, and I don't know how they did it, but they did.
Ouch.
And it just started spreading everywhere.
That's crazy.
This game, I don't know if you said it was releasing February 23rd for PC, PS4, and Nintendo Switch.
PC is the surprise one. That was
that's a huge surprise.
Oh, that game's gonna look good.
Because imagine,
oh man,
like they haven't really we just got a Persona 4 Gold port for PC, and that was like really surprising, right? Like I was not expecting that, and now they're just launching on PC to begin with. Like,
well, to be honest,
that's cool.
The Persona 4 Golden actually showed them that it was a smart move, because Persona 4 Golden, when it launched on Steam, sold like hotcakes, didn't it?
Some people will buy 10 copies for one for themselves and 9 for their friends on launch day.
It would have been 11 if I had accepted it.
Absolutely. The offer's always open. Yeah, that was not a smart day for me, but I just wanted people to play it, and I think maybe 3 people I bought it for have actually played the game. So I wasted
I've got a couple of games that are like tens of hours long that I need to go through.
Me too. Like, I don't want to play Persona 4 Golden again so soon because of the Hollow Forest.
Then you know what you should
I don't want to go back there yet.
You know what you should play? You should play SRB 2 Persona.
I have been. It's very fun, and I want to make a video about it.
Yeah,
I was about to ask you, how is it?
It's super cool.
It's basically just Persona 3's Tartarus system.
But it's got like a battle system that sort of absorbs like all 3 of the. I say all 3, but like, you know, Persona 3, 4, and 5. Like, it takes all the best stuff from all of those battle systems, and makes it like cool, like even cooler, and it's very easy to get into, and I don't know. I can show it to you sometime if you want to see it.
It's basically just a Persona fighting simulator.
It's fun with friends. It has 16-player support.
Jeez.
Yeah. You can get up to we
gotta find like 13 more people.
It's even more exciting when you're being chased by the Reaper. So
It's like a
Just Launch Me the
platforming
Reaper.
Persona game, and I believe they're also working on a single-player campaign, which I
that
will
sounds
play.
cool. Yeah.
I would love a single player campaign.
But speaking of new things, also, Crash Bandicoot. What? Yeah. Supposedly there's something that's called the Wumpa League happening.
I haven't heard of that. What is that?
So, they released a video a while back, Toys for Bob. It is like this cute little thing showing Crash and Coco playing Uncharted 4, I believe, on their game console as just as like a friend supporting friends kind of thing. And it just felt so cool because Naughty Dog developed Crash, and then Naughty Dog went on to develop the Uncharted series. But throughout the entire little short, there's different hints as to what the next Crash game might be. And I believe if you get the 106% ending in Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, and you go back to Insanity Beach, the beginning, and you spin the TV, it'll go through like Crash 1, Crash 2, Crash 3, and then Crash 4. But because you get the 106% ending, you spin it again, it shows this little logo of a Wumpa fruit, and there's like a blue and orange kind of swirl around it.
It's a Crash and Sonic crossover.
Yeah, I wish.
Then we can make content on it.
But I think this is all kind of tying into the rumored title that came up earlier this year called Crash PvP that's supposed to be releasing sometime next year. And from the rumor, I'm not too certain if my information is correct, but I heard it's going to be free to play. It's going to be on PC, mobile, Nintendo Switch, and other consoles. And in the little short, you have the rug that they're sitting above is the Beanox logo. In the background, you can see a thing that has a banner that says Wumpa League. You can see a stoplight. There are just so many references to what this next game could be. And I'm almost certain it might be that Crash PvP rumored game coming out next year. Which is crazy because Crash has had an insane year just because of Crash 4. Crash Bandicoot On the Run, the mobile game, is coming out next year. And then this possibly coming out next year.
I'm down. As long as it's it plays like Crash, and it's I heard there was one leak that was it's gonna be like a Crash Bandicoot Fall Guys feeling kind of thing, but I feel like that's probably not true. But
Crash Bandicoot Battle Royale.
I would play a fun platforming battle royale. I like Fall Guys. It's almost something that I could play every day, but I just don't love how it controls. If it was something like that controlled better, I would be so sold. I don't care.
I hope it's just like Fall Guys and Dylan's yeah, and goes straight to Fall Mountain.
Oh my god. I mean, it's just interesting. It'll be very interesting to see if they actually get this right. Because Crash Bandicoot, unfortunately, has had a huge...
It's had a rough transition to 3D.
No, he's had a couple of titles that's tried to be multiplayer and party kind of themed, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, hey, Crash
surprisingly.
fans, remember Crash Boom Bang?
Don't Crash Boom Bang and Crash Bash. It's so weird because, you'd think that maybe Crash could pull off something like that because he did so well in kart racing. But I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that turns out. I'm excited for whatever it is. And with Beanox's logo being the rug, Beanox is most certainly developing this.
I'm down for that because they did an amazing job with CTR. That's one of my favorite games, period. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I believe that's all for news. Is that all for news? All right,
yeah.
Cool. And I guess it's a good thing we did end on the Crash Bandicoot thing, because that being a multiplayer thing, that leads into the main topic of the podcast, which we are now getting to 30 minutes in.
Perfect.
Single-player experiences versus multiplayer experiences. Which do you feel is better and why?
Okay. Do you want to go first, or do you want someone else to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. I'm gonna cut that out. I really like that. I really like that you posed this question, because I hadn't really thought too much about it before this, but I've always kind of had thoughts in my head sort of relating to this. I don't know in how many words I will express this. I am rather talkative occasionally, so we'll see.
There's a lot of things, especially talking.
I mean, your name's Garrulous.
That is true. Legally.
Legally.
So, when it comes to multiplayer experiences, there are things that I love, and there are things that I also do not love. So, like, when we're talking about multiplayer experiences, obviously there's competitive and there's cooperative, and competitive multiplayer experiences, I'm going to reference specifically things like Splatoon, or, I mean, anything where, you get put on a team, right?
Yeah.
It's, I always felt like when I was playing a lot of Splatoon 2 when it came out, I know other people probably have this experience. I got stuck on teams with people who had no idea what they were doing at all. And there was not really a great matchmaking system with friends in that game. So if you wanted to do something like be on a team with your friends, it was kind of a toss-up as to whether or not you'd be put on the same team. And I don't know if that's changed. That's how it used to be.
Yeah,
And,
I believe it's still the same. That's actually been a problem with the Splatoon series itself.
Nintendo's stupid. What were we saying earlier? But in that case, when I lose in that instance, I don't feel like it's 100% my fault, and that really makes me feel more negatively about the entire experience. Like, I'm not a huge fan of losing because other people were doing bad when I was pulling my own weight.
Yeah.
If I was playing with friends, it's probably more fun even if we lose, because, we're just, oh, you idiot, I can't believe you didn't do that, you stupid fool, blah, blah. And it's a different kind of experience, because, you're making memories with your friends, you're having a good time, and...
You actually have some coordination.
Yeah, and coordination's a good thing. But, stuff like that. Multiplayer versus is fun. Cooperative multiplayer is also really fun if you got friends. I am absolutely loving things like Phasmophobia. It is so fun, even though it's pretty much the same process every time. It's just fun to see what your friends get into with you.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that you can't experience on your own. Like, if you wanted to play something like that, you would be hopelessly outmatched and probably terrified, because Phasmophobia is very spooky.
It is.
There was another game I have in mind, and it was one that the three of us played for a long time. Cube World.
Cube World.
I was gonna say, like, oh, you can't have that. Actually, I remembered, like, there would be nights where I would just sit down and play on my own.
You would play for hours without us.
Yeah.
So technically you did have, but I mean, it's always more fun with friends. Like, I like cooperating with friends, because for one thing, I'm not that good at video games, and a lot of my friends are, so when we compete, I lose, and it's not always super fun. But I think multiplayer gaming is a lot more, for me, like, important for making memories and having a good time with friends, especially in 2020 when you can't really make memories with friends doing anything else.
Yeah.
So right now it's a bit different, but it's still very important. But, I think I actually slightly prefer single-player gaming, because there are things that happen when you're playing a game alone, at least to me, that I would not be able to experience if I was playing in a group. And stuff like that, I think I'm going to be using Undertale as a reference. When I played Undertale, I was sitting on a cot in the living room of a temporary house, because we were having a house built, and I was just playing that at night after I got back from college. And Undertale is one of those games that really emotionally hit me, because it was a very emotional experience as a whole. I loved all of the characters, I wanted to see them happy, and all of this stuff. And I feel like if you're playing a single-player game and friends are watching you or you're streaming, you are going to act differently than you would if you were completely by yourself. And I'm not going to say that, like, let's say after I played Undertale, I watched, like, Ross and Barry play Undertale, and they still very much had a similar emotional experience to what I had. But I feel like if I was with my friends when I was playing that game, that wouldn't have hit me nearly as hard. Like, I probably would not have been teary-eyed by the end of that game, because, if you do that, you might feel a little goofy in front of your friends if you're, showing a little bit of emotion over a game like that. And it's like, that would have probably soured things a little bit, because I want to, like, if it was hitting me, I want to feel it. And that's what it was doing. And alone, I could totally do that. And then I can talk about that experience with other people, and they weren't there, so they just have to, like, that's just how it worked. I mean, sometimes gaming on your own can be lonely, but I think if it leads to emotional moments like that, like, there's so many games, like Persona, whatever, like, I will just be like, oh my god, like, I'll DM people. Like, I was playing Persona 4, something happened, and I was DMing Dave and Jared, and I was, like, emotionally distraught. And like, if I was playing in a call, like, I probably would have still been fairly upset, but also, probably not, I probably would have been stifling it, if that makes any sense. So, like,
it wouldn't be as impactful because you have other people in the call with you, so, like, they could be saying something over it, and it just kind of takes away from it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly that. And also, I feel like I have a tendency to want to make people laugh when I'm in a group. So, like, even if there's something emotional going on screen, I might forego that feeling in favor of trying to make someone laugh. But it's, I think both are really important, and I think they both provide very different experiences, and I'm glad that both are still available. I'm just very happy to be able to still have both of those experiences, let's say.
Yes. Completely agree with you.
Thanks.
I think to touch on that, there is, man, I've had many examples whenever I would play a single player game, and it's like, holy crap, I had like a very specific kind of emotion out of it, or like a certain feeling from that game.
Yeah.
I've played a bunch of games where it's like, I'm glad I played this single player where, I had no one tell me anything, or it's like, I'm just zoned in on playing this game and experiencing it. BioShock Infinite, To the Moon, not so much Undertale. I wasn't really as brought in by Undertale. I know a lot of people were. I just played it and I was like, okay, that was a game. Even though I streamed it, I still went and played it again. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, like, they all had different things that I got from them. To the Moon was just a very emotional story, which, if anyone has not played it, I would highly recommend to do it. It's on PC and it's on mobile, it's on Switch. So it's easily accessible. BioShock Infinite was just a very fun game to go through, and it had there's a very good part in that story that I won't talk about. But that one it just kind of caught me by surprise. For Breath of the Wild, it was just going through and running around Hyrule and just exploring everything, like, uninterrupted by anything, and just getting lost in the game. That was, like, probably even people who talk about it for, like, Skyrim, and then when you hear stories about something that somebody did in Skyrim, and it's like, oh, you have your own unique experience. I think you get that out of a single player game. Depending on what it is. If it's open world, then you have your own unique adventure. And then I don't think I've ever said this ever. In the game Fantasy Life, there's actually a character, and the way that he acted was something that I immediately had a connection to that. I'm like, holy shit. And it was just like how well the characters were written, but that one very specific character, like, after a scene happened in the game closer to the end, I'm like, this game is amazing, and I'm so glad that I didn't sit down and, like, get in a group and played with people, because you can't really advance the story. It's tough with the game. So I think what single player allows you to have, it allows you to have a more personal experience with each game that you play. It might not be the best story, it might not be the best gameplay, but you have your own personal experience that you can tell other people about, as opposed to something like an online game where multiple people are experiencing it at the same time, and it kind of changes like how you feel about it, or like, I mean, it also gives you the opportunity to tell more stories about that stuff as well. But I honestly think prefer something that gives me a more personal experience where it's like that was my unique experience and no one else really had that.
Yeah.
So you get different things between single player and multiplayer. On top of that, with multiplayer, whether it's online or offline, that's a whole other story, because with stuff that's online, that's got an expiration date on it.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before servers shut down, and you would never have access to that ever again.
Yeah.
For a single player game, as long as that game still works and you can still get it to work on that system or on PC or whatever, you will always be able to go and relive that experience, or you'll be able to play it a different way or whatever it is. So I honestly do prefer single player games, but I've always been one to enjoy multiplayer games. I mean, of the three of us, I'm the Call of Duty guy, and I also play my fair share of Apex, which is a battle royale. It's stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah.
But I still really enjoy the single player experience. And what I was saying earlier, where we used to all play Cube World, we would just get in a call and just play for a couple hours. But then when we would be done, I would be on my own on a completely different save file playing Cube World for hours. And I know Dylan was mentioning something like that. It's like, oh, that you were playing for a couple more hours or something. It's really different when it's multiplayer and single player. Like, you get two different experiences out of it. In multiplayer, you're talking with your friends, you're all trying to go after a certain thing, which is basically just go here, fight this, go here, fight this, go here, fight this. In single player, it's even more mindless. There's no one to talk to. So whenever I played it, it would just be something that I can do while I'm listening to a podcast or something, just to kill some time. So you do get something different out of the exact same game in a group setting and solo. So that was just something I wanted to bring up about it.
Yeah.
That's a great point. No, I definitely agree with you. Like, I was watching a video about something like that. I don't remember what video I was watching, but it was like, you will always... Oh, I think it was a Nakey Jakey video about Rockstar games and how like they used to be designed differently, and how like the coolest part about it used to be like you would basically like be able to do things your way, like the way you wanted to, and like if you talked about it with your friends, you would have a vastly different experience as opposed to what they did, where like it's possible.
It's the Skyrim talk. I believe it was called water cooler talk, where you all just get together and talk about the different things that you've done in a specific game. When Skyrim came out, it was the same thing there. It's like, oh, I went and did this. I was playing as this class, and I was doing this. So
I dumped 40 cheese wheels down a mountain and saw them all roll down.
And that's what led to Skyrim's success. That's why it was so successful, because you could have your own unique experience there, rather than being guided by the game to go and do something. You can go and do all of the main quests, or you can just, go on a little, you can go and like take a detour and go do something else and probably never get to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like me. Took one too many detours. Went and did like this Spellcaster Academy thing. It was really cool though.
That's how I felt about Breath of the Wild, honestly. It's so big and open. Like, I just lost track. And Breath of the Wild is the type of game for me where if I put it down for like 2 days, I'll come back to the game and completely forget where I was or how to do something.
That's why I need to restart games like that.
Yeah. For me personally, single player and multiplayer experiences. Single player will definitely probably be the more unique one, just because of, as you were stating, everyone's gonna have their own experience when they pick up the game. That goes for everything, really, because like everyone's gonna have a favorite character. Everyone's gonna have a different favorite like theme, battle, or whatever. They might perceive something written in the story different from someone else.
Oh, absolutely.
And the single player experience, I know for myself growing up, I didn't like play multiplayer. I did not. There's just something about it that took away from the single player experience. When I played a game, I wanted to play it for its story and the adventure that you would take. And then I'd have my siblings be like, hey, can I play? And I'm like, no.
I know the feeling of not wanting to play multiplayer. I have 3 older brothers, and they were all better than me at games. I think nowadays I can hold my own, but that's not the point.
Yeah. But yeah, it's mostly as you guys were. You guys did a really good job at summarizing the single player experience versus multiplayer experience. So I'm not really sure how I can add on to this. But I guess I could add on to it by stating that I've seen how both experiences have pretty much evolved since then. Like now single player games, with the artificial intelligence, makes it to where you can still enjoy a single player game without the co-op, because you have the computers that go in and do stuff with you instead. Like for example, the Gears of War series. You have because I think that's a game you can play co-op, right?
Which one?
Gears of War.
I believe so. I haven't played a Gears of War game in years.
I have no idea.
It's been years since I've played Gears.
Do I look like I play Gears of War?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're wrong.
I like seeing how single-player games tried to make the co-op experience still exist if you didn't have someone there with you. And it's so weird because, like, again, going back to how, you know, if you're playing a single-player game with someone, it's a different experience. But that's even more so, it kind of changes that, because you talk about what you did with the artificial intelligence going in and beating the game, whereas if you were with a friend, you're probably trying to figure out how to break the game.
Frank just does that on his own. He just breaks every game he plays.
True.
But I definitely did enjoy the single player experience more than multiplayer, and even now more so, I still kind of lean towards single player, because I feel like multiplayer's sort of evolved to the point where everyone's sort of just kind of copying each other when it comes to a multiplayer experience. Because once the battle royale genre just skyrocketed, that was literally every other multiplayer game that came out.
Some form of last person standing.
Yeah, some form of last person
shooter,
standing.
third person shooter, Fall Guys, like stuff like that. It's always last person standing. You know, so
yeah. But the
multiplayer Fall Mountain.
It's definitely not Dylan.
Nope. I should have won that time. I should have. I just didn't know I had to grab the crown. Tyler, if you listen to this, I'm still mad at you.
Wow. But I think within recent months, the multiplayer experiences that I definitely did enjoy were Among Us.
Absolutely.
That one, that's a multiplayer experience it's very unique. It's very unique how they set it up. Because it takes the concept of Clue and then actually makes it playable.
You don't like Clue?
No, I love Clue.
Playable like as a video game. Okay.
Yeah.
Playable in a video game form rather than, I'm guessing, rolling dice and picking up cards or something like that. I don't know.
It makes more of an experienced play, because you actually are trying to figure out who's the murderer.
It's a lot more involved, and it's all happening in real time.
Yeah, shout out to the Clue VHS movies.
I still haven't watched.
So fucking funny.
I haven't watched the second one, but from watching the first one, I'm still a little confused.
Shout outs to Shanny Classic Knack Fan for showing them to me, because they were very funny.
Of course, Shanny would be the one to send you that.
No, he it was 2 in the morning, and he was like, "Come on, let's just watch. Come on, they're not long. We'll just watch both of them right now." I was like, "Shanny, it's so late," and he was like, "No, it's fine. Come on, they're not long. It's gonna feel like it's gonna fly right by." And I was like, "Yeah, all right." It was I was up to 3:30 or 4 watching Clue VHS movies, and I was like, I'm dying.
But it's so weird.
But I had a good time.
It's a fun time to watch with friends for sure. But at the end of it goes through alternate endings, and it's just it's what if this person did it? And then it's okay, that's the end. And then what if this person did it?
The sequel's even better, but also we watched a quick documentary thing about the things being made, and the cast they just had so much fun doing it, which makes it even more fun in retrospect.
Yeah, because you go on.
I got a question, and it's not so much about Clue, it's more about Among Us. When do we get a dramatic retelling of an Among Us game as a documentary?
I have one that's perfect for you if you want to do that to close out the episode.
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Alright, so this will be the last thing we're doing, because we already passed through the whole thing. If you don't want to hear this, this is the end of the podcast for you, but this is a pretty good game. So, I was playing with a couple people, I don't think either of you were there, but, it had come down to the point where there were 4 of us left, and the 3 of them 100% knew it was me. They knew I was the imposter, but they didn't vote me out because I tied the vote with Skip. I don't know why people did, like, they were like pretty sure it was me, but they didn't vote me out, and I tied it, and they were like, oh, now we gotta hurry, cause and I was like, oh, this is, I'm screwed, but I will absolutely still give it my all. And, so I got in there, and I called Oxygen, I sabotaged Oxygen, and split everybody up. So, I ran into cafeteria chasing one of them, killed that person, ran out of cafeteria, and then I locked cafeteria's doors. So they couldn't get to the body, and I was like, this will buy me a little bit more time, I gotta wait for my kill cooldown to go down. And I'm on the other side of cafeteria now, near the second Oxygen, and I walk down and I see my friend Jack doing Oxygen, and he sees me, and then we both run up to the top, and I'm like, oh no, the door is locked, so I'm standing there. And then, thank God, Jack turns around, and he starts going the other way, and I follow him, mashing my kill button, because I'm like, I just gotta get him, and then I win. And I'm just doing it, I have 3 seconds left, and the body gets called by my other friend, who was in, I think it was Nils. He was in cafeteria at that point, and I was like, it's over, the jig's up. And, Nils goes, as a body in cafeteria, and Jack goes, you played yourself, man. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything, I was with you. And he was like, no, not you. And then I was like, I just shut up at that point, because I was like, oh, he's serious. So he just goes, brother, Dylan was with me the whole time. I'm so sorry, Dylan, I doubted you. It's him. It's Nils. I'm sorry I doubted you. And, like, he was like, I owe you an apology. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I voted for Nils. Jack voted for Nils. Nils gets thrown out into into space. And then Jack's like, I can't believe it. Like, they really had me. He had me played with that story. And as soon as the game ends in defeat, you just hear... And Jack walks away from the microphone. And I was like, I cannot believe I just had a 5D brain plan and it worked.
Oh, man.
That was my favorite round ever. Because I didn't have to do anything. I just let Jack do it. I was like, huh, alright. It's just... But Among Us has shit like that, which you could never have in a single-player experience, and I will always be appreciative of multiplayer for that.
It reminds me of just getting away with something like that reminds me of the one time that I got everyone to turn on one person when he witnessed, because I was an imposter with one other person. That other person went for a kill. I was supposed to go for the double kill, but I messed up. I didn't get to it in time, and the body was called. That person who called the body, I got everyone to turn on him. Like, I was really quick. I'm just like, I am pushing my luck, but you know what? I'll do it.
Just makes me feel like an evil mastermind.
They eject them, and we just go for, like, I think the other imposter goes for, like, the last kill, and we're just like, how did you... Like, but I knew you did it. You were an imposter. It's like, yeah, but that wasn't my kill. And I had, like, now that I look back at it, because it is on a video, I keep thinking, if we went for that double kill, I think that'd be more suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure just getting everyone to turn on him, it was amazing.
I think that's how Mel Poncho and I lost a game, because we double killed 2 people right at the beginning of a round, and then Dave was in
cafeteria.
What the... they were there, and now they're both dead, and you guys aren't, and I was like, fuck. So you're right.
Don't double kill when you're in the exact same area. Like, it was like the 4 of us bunched together. So 2 imposters, 2 crewmates, and it's like, I'm so glad I didn't go for that kill, because that would have looked more suspicious, because there would be 2 dead bodies.
And also, remember your lies when you're playing this game, because the other day I was playing the game, and I lied to someone as a cover saying I had a med scan, but I forgot that I said that, and I forgot that the body being called interrupted that supposed med scan. So they were watching me the whole time, trying to watch me and see if I would go into med bay. And eventually they called an emergency meeting. They were like, "Hey Dylan, if you have med scan, why aren't you doing it?" And I was like,
"Fuck."
Yeah, I was literally like, "Fuck, I forgot." I was like, I don't know. I had no fucking answer because it caught me off guard. I was like, shit. And I was getting away with it up to that point. But then I was like,
But, yeah, that's the social aspect to like multiplayer games that you can't get it with single player games, no matter what. Even if you, even like I know I mentioned the whole Skyrim thing multiple times. Like even if you had that, that's the difference between the different thing you'll get with a multiplayer game, especially one that has a social aspect like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I guess we could wrap it up there.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's plenty. It's about the same amount of time as your first episode, I think. And also, thanks for almost 500 views on that first episode. That was really cool.
Yeah, woo.
That was awesome.
Don't forget to subscribe. And watch this one all the way through.
Comment.
Especially
please.
you. I know you're not subbed.
No way.
That's going to be the topic of our next podcast.
Subscribe.
Yeah,
Do
why
it. You won't.
aren't subbed. We're just going to talk
Why
about
aren't-
you the whole time.
We're going to talk about you specifically. All right?
Subscribe.
We know who
Do it.
you are.
Do it. You won't.
All right, bye.
Joseph.
I'll cut that out of the episode. We're not going to randomly name one of the people. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.